Harden not your heart, as in a provocation, as in the days in the wilderness, the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me and saw my work. 40 years was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that err in their heart, as they have not known my ways, unto whom I swear in my wrath, that they should not enter my rest. Psalm 95. So you're going to watch a little video here. There's no sound. Now what looks and appears to be a snake is not a snake at all. They are caterpillars, plural, called processionary caterpillars. Now these caterpillars have the ability to shoot off like little harpoons or little arrows, and in those little harpoons and those little arrows are allergens and toxic substances, so that if you're near them and you irritate them, they will give you a blast of their toxic substance. Now what's interesting is they travel in large groups, and there is a leader, and it almost looks as if like they're a serpent, but it's because they all stay together and in a way stay connected when they're traveling. Now these things can do a lot of harm with pine trees, and they can do a lot of harm to the trees in the forests, and as I said, they can do some harm to human beings if there's enough of them and they release enough of their toxins. So anyone that's dealing with them usually stays well protected because they're filled with poison. Now it looks like a serpent there, but it's not a serpent. Again, they're filled with poison. Now the reason I showed you this was because of that passage that I read to you from Psalm 95, which basically says that the Israelites had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years. Why? They were full of toxins and poisons. As you can see, they're pretty well protected there, and they're dealing with them, and the translation of their words there would be, we know we need to be protected because we can get extremely sick from being exposed to their toxins. So I'm likening the 40 years in the wilderness of wandering to this whole idea of these processionary caterpillars wandering for 40 years with toxin inside of them. Now they're showing you a blow-up of what it would be like if you aggravated one of these things. Its skin would open up and it would shoot these little harpoons or these little arrows that are just filled with poison. And then of course a human being would have an allergic reaction to this substance. Okay, so I wanted to show you that, and once again reaffirm from Psalm 95. that it was a 40-year processionary caterpillar wandering in the wilderness. And here's some more information on those creatures if you want to look it up. Pine processionary caterpillars. To illustrate the wanderings in the wilderness. Now my card started out with this on it, and it's what led me to do this. That supposedly a naturalist got hold of some of these caterpillars and had them have a procession around and around and around and around until eventually they dropped over dead. And that's what made me think of this whole idea of the Israelites wandering in the wilderness being very similar to these pine processionary caterpillars. Why? Because it was in their heart. They erred in their heart. Therefore, they erred in their ways. In other words, they were filled with the poison of sin. And as you well know, it was only Joshua and Caleb that went into the promised land of the adult world. All the adults died in the wilderness. And the wilderness must have been littered with gravestones of those who erred in heart. Don't be a processionary caterpillar, and don't let your heart get filled with toxic poison of sin. Thank you for watching. End of video.